the dirty secret right now is RAG is really popular, but it's also very hard to do correctly because it's so new.
And where do you think it's going to end up? Is this going to be the future of this? Just going to be more and more of this around RAG, or is RAG a fad that's going to come and go?
Ultimately, RAG's gonna go.
Welcome to season 2 of Practical AI, everybody. My name's Jeff. I'm with Peter Lynn. Practical AI is brought to you by Pocket AI, a tool that allows you to perform surgery on your models to make them better. While everyone today is talking about RAG and refinement, Pocket AI allows you to edit weights directly. Peter, today's topic is RAG. It's something we're hearing a lot about,
Yep.
and it is kind of in all the literature. Tell us, what is RAG? Why is it important? And why do we keep hearing about it so much?
Yeah. So RAG is an acronym, like many things in the software world, and it stands for Retrieval Augmented Generation. So that's a big mouthful.
Okay, and
So
what does it mean?
retrieval basically means what you get out of language models. Augmented means you're changing what the output's going to be. And generation is the fact that GPT stands for generative pre-trained model. So RAG just means that you're going to modify your prompt to get a better result.
So it's essentially prompt modification is what it
It's
is.
prompt engineering, basically.
Prompt engineering. So are you doing anything different? Or like, are you editing the model or modifying the model at all, or just the prompts?
Well, there's multiple parts. Let's
Okay.
say you're an open source person and you go, hey, I want to train a model for this obscure programming language. And the current version of Llama 3 doesn't work very well. So you go, okay, I'm going to go up to GitHub. I'm going to look for every project that uses this language. I'm going to download it. And then I'm going to refine the model so it gets better at this obscure language. So you do that. You can gather the data and then you train it some more to get better at this other language. So that's refinement. Then the other part is once you've trained the model, you might ask the question 4 different ways. And one of them might get you the answer that you want, and the other three might get you terrible answers. And the question is, how do you make sure that your prompt gets you the best answer? And there's different ways of doing that. So there's chain of thought, which is one method. There's tree of thought, but all these are grouped in the RAG bucket, where you're basically changing how you prompt the model to get a better result.
Okay, so essentially, if like we backed up into like the area of computer programming and classic IT, um, uh, this is essentially outside of the code, and this is essentially trying to get the user to ask a better question or write a better use case. I mean, this is kind of at the business level. So you're trying to create the proper question. Um, and so essentially you're training the user at this point, right? The ML engineer.
A little bit. So basically, let's say you have a bunch of users, but they're asking things a certain way, and they're not getting the response they want from the language model. Well, so you can't really go to 30 people and say, okay, y'all doing it wrong. You're prompting your prompts are bad, right? So the question then is, can I do something to the prompt that humans are typing in, modify it, and then feed it to the model to get a better result? So RAG is this thing in between, where if you ask it in a poorly worded way, we can augment the prompt. So that's the RAG part. Feed it to the model, and then you'll get the better result.
Oh, I see what you're doing. So in RAG, you're actually curating or massaging the prompt. And so what the model sees is actually different than what was typed originally.
Exactly. Yep. Yeah. And the reason why is this is as you roll out new versions of the model, you can change the code, the RAG part, to always get a better result. But you can't go back to your user and say, well, you know what? Last week we told you to prompt this way. Well, there's a new version now, so you got to prompt a different way. So if you did that, your user would be like, what? What are you talking about?
So I'm assuming that at places like OpenAI or OpenAI or some of the other places, they're collecting huge stores of data on what kind of prompts are coming in, and then maybe following the chain of like further prompts that that the user's
Right.
asking until they stop asking the prompt, and then maybe they're like, oh, there's a direct connection between this classic prompt that a lot of people are asking and this one where they terminate, they stop asking it. And so therefore we're guessing that we should do this RAG initiative so that this
Mhm.
type of prompt results in this.
Right. So for example, let's say someone goes up to ChatGPT and that's a question, and the chat bot returns something bad. And the user goes, no, I didn't mean that. I meant this other thing. And so the user does this multiple times until finally they get a good answer. And on ChatGPT, you can do a thumb down, thumbs up on the final response. So let's assume that you've got 10 million people doing this, prompting, getting responses, refining their question until they get the answer they want. Well, now, OpenAI, you can look at that. You can go, okay, users started with this question. Let's look at how common that question is. What was the final response? So the good responses were this. What were the things in between that helped it get to the response? And you can analyze that and go, okay, here's the RAG part. I can take that data and go, if I get this prompt from a human, I'm going to change it to this using RAG, and then you're going to get a much better result.
Okay, yeah, that makes perfect sense now. So good explanation. So now I guess the question that I have is every prompt sort of hand-to-hand combat where they're trying to figure out basically hard coding each one, or are they using AI against that whole prompt data set and saying typically prompt formations that come in this way have to be adjusted into this. And so they're basically have an AI that's working on just the prompts.
So that's the tricky part. When Llama 3 was released, they actually increased the number of tokens between 2 and 3. And so the RAG part, what you do is you take the prompt and you tokenize it. So you go, okay, here's the sentence, here's the question. We're going to feed it through the model and get the tokens out. Well, when you come up with a new version of the model and it's got different tokens, you can't feed the old tokens into the new model. That doesn't work. And so it's not a static thing. It's as you roll out new models, you have to build your RAG glue code to take the prompt and then figure out what modifications need to be made into a tokens, and then you feed that to the model to say, okay, here's the actual prompt I want to ask.
So who's doing the most innovative stuff with RAG right now? Is it those entities, those big boys, the tech
No,
bros,
it's
or is it the
mostly customers, customers
customers?
that are using AI stuff. But the dirty secret right now is RAG is really popular, but it's also very hard to do correctly because it's so new.
Okay. And where do you think it's going to end up? Is this going to be the future of this? Just going to be more and more of this around RAG, or is RAG a fad that's going to come and go?
I think of ultimately RAG's gonna go
Why?
because once we figure out how to actually generalize models better, the model should just figure out like, oh, when you ask these four questions, you meant this. It's this concept you're asking. And so then internally in the model, it'll map 1,000 questions to the one concept they're all asking to get the best answer. Because right now it doesn't really understand all concepts. It has some people believe that it does have some understanding of concepts, but no one's proven it yet. And if you ask the same question 30 different ways, half the time you'll get the wrong answer. So that's not the proof isn't there to show conclusively that large language models actually encode concepts universally.
Okay. Well, this is great. I feel like I understand RAG a little bit better, so that's good. Hopefully the rest of our users do as well. And this is great. Love getting this. Next time, I think we should maybe hit refinement just in general and see tap into that a little bit more. Peter, thank you. Be sure to like, subscribe, and ask questions. We'll try to answer them if possible. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Thanks. Whoa. Okay, Aubrey. We're going to try this now. Practical AI is brought to you by Pocket AI, which is a tool. No. Pocket AI is, nope, that's not right. Well, everyone today is talking about taking,
Okay. Take 3.
Let's try that again.